First contact fallout. The ESV Pathfinder drifted silently through the Orc cloud at the edge of Sol system, its sleek hull reflecting the distant pinprick of Earth's sun. Commander Sasha Volkov stood on the observation deck, her dark eyes fixed on the object suspended in the ship's containment field, a metallic shard roughly the size of a shuttlecraft, covered in geometric patterns that seemed to shift when viewed from different angles. Analysis complete, Commander, reported Dr. Eli Chen, the ship's chief xenorteologist. The artifact is approximately 50,000 years old, composed of an alloy we've never encountered before. The energy readings are unusual. Define unusual, Sasha replied, never taking her eyes off the object. It's generating a quantum field that doesn't match any known form of technology. We're detecting what appear to be dormant communication systems. I believe we can safely activate a diagnostic protocol without. The artifact pulsed, a ripple of blue light spreading across its surface. The ship's alarms immediately blared to life. What did you do? Sasha demanded, gripping the railing as the deck vibrated beneath her feet. Eli's fingers flew across his console. Nothing. It activated on its own when our scan reached a certain frequency. It's transmitting something, a signal I can't decode. Lieutenant Commander Raj Patel burst onto the deck, his face grim. Commander, we've detected a massive energy surge at the edge of the system. Multiple objects incoming at impossible velocities. Impossible how? Sasha asked, already knowing she wouldn't like the answer. They're moving at 15% faster than light in normal space. That shouldn't be possible. In the silence that followed, Dr. Chen whispered what they were all thinking. First contact. The response from Earth came quickly. All civilian vessels were ordered to return to the inner system. Military ships deployed in defensive formations. The Pathfinder, carrying the artifact that had started it all, raced back toward Earth, trailing the approaching alien fleet by mere hours. The first attack came without warning or demands for surrender. Massive ships, their hulls gleaming with the same shifting patterns as the artifact, emerged from what appeared to be tiers in space itself. They'd bypassed the outer system defenses entirely, appearing directly in Earth orbit. Energy weapons of incomprehensible power sliced through military satellites and defense platforms like they were made of paper. Admiral Helena Zhou stood in the United Earth Defense Command Center, watching as decades of military preparation crumbled in minutes. But where her predecessors might have seen defeat, she saw opportunity. They're using standard attack formations, she observed, eyes narrowed at the tactical display. Predictable. Methodical. They expect us to break and run. General Marcus Okafor nodded grimly. Then let's show them something they don't expect. The response that followed would forever change humanity's place in the galaxy. Earth's remaining orbital defense platforms, rather than firing their main weapons, released thousands of microsatellites, a technology the aliens had dismissed as primitive communication nodes. Each microsatellite carried a miniaturized fusion bomb and a simple AI with one instruction. Find the weakest point in an alien ship's energy field and detonate. The alien fleet, unprepared for such a primitive yet effective tactic, lost 12 ships in the first wave. Their formations became erratic, their coordination temporarily disrupted. On the ground, humanity's disparate nations united with unprecedented speed. Ancient rivalries were set aside in the face of extinction. Scientists worldwide shared data without restriction. Military forces coordinated seamlessly. Production facilities switched to war footing in hours rather than days. Helena watched with fierce pride as the tactical display showed the first alien landing parties being systematically isolated and eliminated. The invaders had expected to face scattered, uncoordinated resistance. Instead, they encountered an entire species that treated adaptation as a way of life. They're pulling back to regroup, reported her tactical officer. Our orbital mines have forced them to abandon their primary landing zones. Helena smiled grimly. Good, now activate Project Prometheus. Across the world, Hidden facilities powered up experimental defense systems that had been deemed too dangerous for testing in peacetime. Gravity manipulation fields disrupted alien targeting systems. Experimental EMP weapons forced their advanced ships to resort to backup systems. Quantum-entangled communication networks allowed human forces to coordinate faster than alien observers could track. The Archon, supreme commander of the Galactic Concord Expeditionary Force, could not comprehend the data before him. His mandibles clicked in agitation as he reviewed the casualty reports. Impossible, he chittered to his war council. Their technology is centuries behind ours. Their weapons are primitive. Their defenses should have fallen within hours. His chief strategist, Vexlar, displayed a hologram of a human soldier disassembling an alien weapon, modifying it with crude tools, and then using it against its creators with devastating effectiveness. They adapt too quickly, Vexlar explained. They don't fight according to any doctrine we recognize. Each defeat teaches them. They learn from every engagement, sometimes within minutes. Then we will overwhelm them with numbers, the Archon declared. Bring in the second wave. We will darken their skies with our ships. Even as he gave the order, human scientists led by Dr. Maya Osei were already analyzing debris from destroyed alien vessels. In underground bunkers, they dissected alien technology, identifying principles that would have taken humanity decades to discover independently. It's not that they're more advanced, Maya explained to Admiral Joe during an emergency briefing. They're just more refined. Their technology followed a completely different evolutionary path than ours. They focused on efficiency and elegance. We focused on resilience and adaptability. Can we use that against them? Helena asked. Maya's smile was fierce. We already are. Their systems are too specialized, optimized for specific tasks with minimal redundancy. When something unexpected happens, they don't have backup systems the way we do. In orbit, Commander Sasha Volkov and the Pathfinder had transformed from an exploration vessel to a makeshift command ship, coordinating Earth's increasingly effective counterattacks. The artifact that had started the war now sat in the ship's most secure containment field as scientists worked feverishly to understand its secrets. We've cracked their basic communication protocols, Eli reported, exhaustion evident in his voice after working for 3 days straight. They call themselves the Galactic Concord, a federation of 27 species that has existed for over 30,000 years. And they attacked without attempting communication because, Sasha prompted, because we tripped an automated defense system in the artifact. It identified us as a potential threat species based on our technological growth rate. They've been culling dangerous emerging civilizations for millennia. Sasha's expression hardened. They've never faced humans before. On the 6th day of what was already being called the First Contact War, the aliens launched their largest assault yet. Thousands of ships emerged from faster-than-light transit points throughout the system, converging on Earth in a three-dimensional pincer movement designed to overwhelm any possible defense. They weren't prepared for what awaited them. The first wave encountered a cloud of stellar debris, the remains of human stations and alien ships from earlier battles that had been seeded with quantum mines. As their automated systems worked to navigate the debris field, the mines detonated in precisely calibrated sequences, creating cascading disruptions in the aliens' formation. The second wave faced something even more unexpected. Hijacked alien vessels piloted by humans who had mastered alien control systems in days rather than the years it should have taken. These captured ships transmitted authentication codes that confused alien targeting systems long enough for Earth's remaining defense platforms to target critical systems. When the third wave arrived, they found not the broken, demoralized civilization they expected, but a unified global defense force that fought with desperate creativity and startling effectiveness. Human ships deliberately took damage to lure alien vessels into ambush positions. Crude but effective nuclear weapons were detonated in precisely calculated positions to create electromagnetic pulses that disrupted alien sensors. In the Concorde command ship, The Archon watched in disbelief as the tactical display showed more red indicators than blue. Years of warfare compressed into days. Strategies that had conquered dozens of civilizations, faltering against a species that refused to accept defeat. How is this possible? He demanded of no one in particular. His chief intelligence officer, Zintra, answered anyway. They are not fighting according to any recognizable doctrine. They improvise constantly. Our predictive algorithms cannot anticipate their strategies because they create new ones in real time. No species adapts this quickly. This one does, Zintra replied, mandibles clicking in what might have been admiration. And we have made a grave error. The artifact we detected was not their attempt to access Concord technology. It was one of our automated sentinel beacons that they discovered by accident. The Archon stared at the tactical display, watching as another formation of his ships was systematically dismantled by a human counterattack that should not have been possible with their level of technology. We have declared war, he said slowly, on the wrong species. The counterattack. In the 3 weeks since first contact, humanity had transformed. Global manufacturing had been completely reconfigured for war production. University research labs worked alongside military facilities, breaking down alien technology and integrating it with human designs at an unprecedented pace. They're coming back, Admiral Zhao announced to the assembled leaders in Earth's unified command center. The holographic display showed Concord reinforcements arriving at the edge of the solar system, a fleet 3 times larger than the initial assault force. And this time, they know what to expect. General Okafor nodded grimly. Then we need to give them something they don't expect. Dr. Maya Osei stepped forward, her normally immaculate lab coat wrinkled from days without sleep. We've reverse-engineered their FTL communication technology. We can't replicate their faster-than-light drives yet, but we've developed something they won't anticipate. On her signal, the holographic display changed to show a small, sleek vessel unlike any human design previously seen. This is the Vanguard. It incorporates salvaged Concord technology with human adaptability. Most importantly, it can disguise itself as a Concord scout ship and transmit authentic identification codes. A Trojan horse, Helena said with a smile. Exactly. We can insert a small team directly into their command structure. The mission was designated Operation Achilles. Its objective: infiltrate the Concord command network, gather intelligence on their full military capabilities, and if possible, open a channel for actual communication rather than continued warfare. The strike team consisted of 12 individuals chosen for their unique abilities. Commander Sasha Volkov would lead, with Dr. Eli Chen providing technical expertise and Lieutenant Commander Raj Patel handling tactical operations. The remaining 9 were specialists in various fields from cybersecurity to xenobiology. This is a one-way trip, Sasha told her team bluntly as they prepared to board the Vanguard. Even if we succeed, there's no guarantee we can make it back. If we don't succeed, Raj replied, checking his modified alien weapon, there might not be an Earth to come back to. The Vanguard launched under cover of a major human counteroffensive, while Earth's remaining military assets engaged the Concord fleet in a series of ferocious battles throughout the system. The small infiltrator ship slipped past their lines, its hybrid systems broadcasting identification codes harvested from destroyed alien vessels. Inside the heart of the Concord Armada, the Archon received disturbing reports. Despite their overwhelming numbers, the human resistance continued to adapt to each new tactic. Worse, there were signs that human technology was evolving at an alarming rate, incorporating Concord principles in ways the aliens had never considered. They're using our quantum communication technology to coordinate their defenses, reported Zintra. But they've modified it to operate through their existing satellite network. It's crude but effective, and nearly impossible to jam because of its distributed nature. And their weapons? The Archon asked. Still primitive by our standards, but they're compensating with tactics we've never encountered. They're using their planet's magnetic field to mask missile launches. They're deploying decoys that precisely mimic the energy signatures of their actual ships. The Archon's compound eyes narrowed. No emerging species should be capable of this level of adaptation. It defies all predictive models. At that moment, alarms blared throughout the command ship. Security protocols activated as sensors detected an unauthorized access to the central database. The Vanguard had successfully docked with a Concorde supply vessel, its hybrid systems fooling the automated security protocols. Sasha's team moved through the alien ship with practiced precision, their movements based on layouts reconstructed from wreckage and captured data. We've got 15 minutes before their security systems complete the next authentication cycle, Eli warned as he worked to interface his hybrid terminal with an alien data port. After that, every ship in the fleet will know we're here. Then work faster, Sasha replied, keeping her weapon trained on the corridor. What they discovered in those 15 minutes would change the course of the war. The Concorde wasn't just a military alliance. It was a galactic-scale civilization built on the principle of controlled evolution. For 30,000 years, they had monitored developing species, allowing those deemed stable to join their federation, while eliminating those classified as chaotic or unpredictable. Humanity had been classified as the most dangerous type, adaptive chaos. The Concorde's predictive models showed that an unrestricted human expansion into the galaxy would result in uncontrolled technological development and potential destabilization of the carefully maintained galactic order. They're afraid of us, Sasha realized, reading through the translated data. Not of what we are, but of what we might become. We need to transmit this back to Earth, Raj urged. This changes everything. But their presence had been detected. Alien security forces converged on their position, cutting off direct access to the Vanguard. With no other options, Sasha made a decision that would be studied in military academies for generations to come. "We're going to the bridge," she announced. "We're taking this ship." What followed was 40 minutes of intense close-quarters combat. The human team, using a combination of modified alien weapons and improvised explosives, fought their way through the vessel's security teams. They suffered casualties, 3 specialists dead, 2 more wounded, but they reached the bridge. In the final confrontation, Sasha faced the ship's commander, a towering insectoid being whose mandibles clicked in what might have been surprise or outrage. "You cannot possibly understand what you are interfering with," the alien captain chittered, the ship's translation system converting its speech. "The Concorde has maintained galactic stability for millennia. By exterminating any species that doesn't fit your model," Sasha replied, her weapon unwavering. "That ends today." Rather than continuing the fight, she made an unexpected offer. "Communication. Take me to your Archon. It's time we actually talk to each other." On Earth, Admiral Zhao received the transmission from the Vanguard with mixed emotions. The data about the Concorde's true nature and capabilities was invaluable, but the report that Commander Volkov had surrendered to the enemy and requested a direct meeting with their leadership was unexpected. "It's either the bravest or most foolish move I've ever heard of," Helena muttered. "Or the most human," Dr. Ose suggested. "They feared us because we're unpredictable." Sasha just proved them right. In the heart of the Concorde command ship, Sasha Volkov stood before the Archon, the first human to directly address the alien leadership. She had come unarmed, a gesture that the Concorde protocol officers had spent hours debating before allowing the meeting. "Your species has caused more damage to our forces in 3 weeks than we've sustained in the last century of maintaining galactic order," the Archon stated, compound eyes fixed on the human before him. "You've adapted to our technology, reverse-engineered our weapons, and displayed tactical flexibility that our analysts still cannot fully explain." "That's what humans do," Sasha replied simply. "We adapt. We overcome. We survive. But we also create, explore, and connect. You attacked us without attempting communication. You tried to exterminate us because your model said we were dangerous. Have you considered that your models might be wrong?" The Archon's mandibles clicked rapidly, a sign of agitation, or perhaps deep thought. Our predictive systems have guided the Concorde for 30,000 years. They have never been wrong. Until now, Sasha countered. Because here I am, offering peace after you tried to destroy my civilization. What followed was the most important negotiation in human history. For 6 hours, Commander Sasha Volkov represented humanity in discussions that would determine whether Earth would face continued warfare or have a chance at peaceful integration with the galactic community. The breakthrough came when Sasha allowed Zintra, the Concorde's chief intelligence officer, to directly interface with the data Eli had collected about humanity's history. The alien observer witnessed humanity's countless wars, its near self-destruction, and most crucially, its consistent pattern of adaptation and unification in the face of existential threats. They fight constantly, Zintra reported to the Archon, but they learn from each conflict. They adapt faster than any species we've encountered, and when truly threatened, they unite with remarkable efficiency. All qualities that make them dangerous, the Archon noted, or valuable, Zintra countered. Our models predicted they would fracture under attack. They unified. We predicted they would take generations to understand our technology. They began integrating it within days. Perhaps our models need revision. The ceasefire was announced 3 days later. Concorde ships withdrew to the outer system, while diplomatic channels were established. Earth began the long process of rebuilding. Its technological base now accelerated by centuries, thanks to captured alien knowledge. In the new Joint Species Command Center established in Geneva, Admiral Joe met with Sasha Volkov, now returned to Earth as a hero and newly appointed ambassador to the Concorde. They're still afraid of us, Sasha admitted, looking at the holographic display showing the remaining Concorde fleet maintaining a watchful position beyond Mars. But they're also fascinated. Their civilization has been stable for so long that they've forgotten how to truly innovate. And we never stop, Helena observed. Exactly. The Archon has proposed a compromise. We'll be allowed to join the galactic community, but with certain restrictions on our expansion rate. Sasha smiled. Restrictions that I suspect we'll find ways to work around eventually. Helena laughed. Of course we will. We're human. As the sun set over a Earth forever changed by first contact, the first joint human Concorde research facility began operations on the lunar surface. Inside, scientists from both civilizations worked side by side, each learning from the other. The aliens had declared war on humanity, expecting another routine extermination of a potentially troublesome species. Instead, they had discovered something unprecedented. A civilization that viewed obstacles not as roadblocks, but as challenges to overcome. A species that adapted not over generations, but in real time. A potential ally who could bring new perspectives to a galactic order grown stagnant in its stability. They had declared war on the wrong species, and in doing so, they had unwittingly opened the door to a future neither civilization could have imagined alone.